Hi, this is Ellie from ProLifeForMankind.com, and today I want to talk to you about Dana Coverstone's dream. It's called the Mud Dream. I've come to the conclusion, of course, this is an interpretation of his dream. And am I right? Well, I could be right or I could be wrong, but my feeling is what he's talking about is a volcano. I'll tell you why. There's a few clues in this dream he talks about. I'm going to tell you about some of the clues before we get into the dream. One of the clues is he talks about a cloud, and that can occur with a volcanic explosion, eruption. He talks about mud, and if you know from volcanoes that when that volcanic ash is insoluble. The particles are insoluble with water, and when it comes in contact with water, it causes it to become a slurry or a mud. So it's kind of interesting. He also talks about green lightning. Green lightning is seen in volcanic eruptions. So those are the clues that popped up right away. And interesting, I had a dream about 3 years ago. I posted it about a volcano. I saw ash. And he even says, I'm looking at my notes here, that he says that he sees gray mud, decay, death. There's little green, there's hardly any green grass or nothing alive. So all of that leads to my thoughts that it could be, and he talks about ash and gray. The sky is ash and gray. Well, all those descriptions and details from his dream refer to a volcano. I was looking at his dream. It starts out, I got all my notes here. He talks about the southern states. Well, we see what's going on in the south. They had a horrific storm. He talks about how the snow melts. There's going to be a revival in the south. Obviously, they've been through hell. Texas has been through hell. North Carolina's been through hell. Oklahoma, all these states have been through a lot of trials. And he says that people begin to repent, and as they repent, the snow begins to melt. And that's figurative, that hearts melt. Hearts can become like stone. But when people repent, they melt and become warm and human again, and caring and loving and kind. Then he says the snow disappears, and then he describes that suddenly everything, he talks about a very thick fog, and then that clears, and then he sees the earth with this, it looks like a disaster is hit. And he talks about, God tells him, he talks about the mud, and people are holding their noses. There's people with masks on, maybe oxygen masks. When you have ash and you've got a fallout of such a volcanic eruption, you're going to have to wear masks in order to breathe. You hold your nose, your mouth. How do you breathe with ash all around you? And then God tells the people, work with the mud you have been given. There's a cloud, he said, in the middle of the United States, and I believe that's a volcanic cloud. And he says that people start to head towards this cloud, and they're struggling through the mud. And these wolves, I think he talks about the wolves coming up to these people that are struggling through the mud, who are just trying to survive, and the wolves start to attack them. And that's a sign for me, if there's a volcanic eruption, there could be chaos, there could be rebellion. There would be chaos if there was such a disaster. And and they begin to bite the people that are trying to get through this mud. And he says their eyes, these wolves' eyes, are glowing, which means it's nighttime. And you would have night time if there was a volcanic eruption. And that's why the wolves' eyes glow. Then he says that the people are covered in mud, and then they have to use masks. And then he sees Jesus, who is this, he calls him a white figure, he's got a scepter, it's Jesus, and he says, I'm coming back soon. And he talks about the chaff being about ready to be burned. And the burning, that would happen with a volcanic eruption. So these are, the green lightning was a major clue, because you get that with volcanic eruptions. The other clue was, for me, was the ashen gray sky that he saw. The other clue was that the wolves' eyes were glowing. It was dark out. They couldn't glow unless it was dark out. And so that would happen in a volcanic eruption. People were marrying. The mud, you get mud, like I said before, when the volcanic particles mix with water, they're insoluble, so you get mud. You get a slurry. And that can also cause the highways to become like mud, and the runways to also become like mud. So people, this all kind of goes along with the volcanic eruption. This is what I got out of it. That God is going to use another natural disaster like he did in the southern states, but this is going to be a much worse. This isn't just going to be for the southern states, it's going to be for the entire United States. So that's my take on the Dana Coverstone dream. If you like to write about my ideas about his dream called Mud and my interpretation, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. Well, God bless. Remember, we're living in the last days. Pray fast and live a pure life. Give your heart to Jesus. And please pray for an end to abortion. God bless.